everything is harmonious and we can move forward. I was a little worried when he played that gambit that he was like some kind of specialist in this bizarre sort of gambit, but not so. He just went totally experimental with a6 and knight a6, and this is terrible for black. Although it is just a pawn down, black could probably have gotten a little more compensation in the opening. Oh, Laz Hazior, I don't recall it freezing more than 3 or 4 days this winter in Texas. Laz Hazior, you almost sound Hungarian yourself. Yeah, man, it's global warming, I guess. I don't mean to be like Al Gore, but it's really crazy. I mean, it's like, it never snows a lot in Budapest. But I mean, you know, like 10 days of rain in February? I don't remember that happening before. A5, and how can I get my pieces like developed here? C4, I don't really want to play C4 because with his knight on C5, he has this kind of pressure on my D3 pawn at the moment. I may do what I call the Raoul. There was this guy, I used to play chess for money in Harvard Square in Boston, Cambridge, Massachusetts, where Harvard University is. There's a cool cafe where you can play chess, and all the chess players in Boston hang out there. So there's this really good friend of mine named Raoul, and he's just a coffee house player, but he always transfers his knights. Like, he has this opening called the Raoul where he does like knight c3, knight e2, knight g3. I kind of did the Raoul here type of thing. But it's perfectly reasonable way of getting my pieces coordinated. A little shout out there for Raoul. You never know who might be watching my stream. That's the fun thing about doing this. However, having talked about this now, I've got to be, you know, concerned that he's pointing his pieces at my king's side here. C4 is becoming a little more realistic, though now that I played knight d2 to f1, Pete's still gambited this pawn, but he's played very reasonably after that. Alright, we'll do it. GM Will Wolf, you're going to make a chess opening called the Slaggy? I've invented one opening, the 3 a.m. variation of the Scandinavian. After e4, d5, pawn takes pawn, knight h6. The idea of knight f5. I also play e4, knight h6, but I can't really claim that. You know, it's just like, I don't think anyone can name a move like a first move after themselves. Obviously, knight h6 has been played before. Bishop g4. But knight h6 and e4, d5, pawn takes pawn, knight h6 are obviously very closely interrelated openings. Here I'd like to trade some pieces if I may. Also, queen d2 looks like a reasonable move. But, you know, again, we go back to principles. And when you are up material, you should be trying to trade pieces. Exactly, Calidus, the 3 a.m. variation. You get what you get what you think you're going to get with that. I mean, you get an opening that you... I was laying in bed one night, and it just came to me. I was like, wait a minute. You ever do that? I mean, you know you're a real chess player. You've reached, like, you're really obsessed with chess when you lay in bed and you try to invent new openings in your dream state when you're trying to fall asleep. So one day it just came to me. I was like, wait, I'll just play like knight h6 and use the f5 square for my knight. It's proven to be fairly effective in blitz. I wouldn't recommend playing it in tournaments. Maybe I did play it in a tournament, though. I'm not sure. I played knight h6 once against a FIDE master, but I can't recall if... maybe I should just play f4 here and bite the bullet. I don't know. It's very weakening. I'm a little concerned how well Pete Stu is playing here after this ridiculous opening. He's playing like ultra positional moves. Like, what is this? Bishop e5. Wow. Slaggy attack. Yeah, Slaggy isn't. Yeah, it's. I don't know. We'd have to call it the Paschall attack. I think we'd have to use my real name. Slaggy's like a poker handle. It's only really known to my Hungarian friends and a very select few of old comrades. But I have occasionally played knight h3, knight h6 tournament games. Oddly, I had this game where I played e4, knight h6, d4, d5, pawn takes pawn, it transposed to a c3 Sicilian. The guy actually transposed to a c3 Sicilian. It was unbelievable. You know, how does e4, knight h6 transpose to a c3 Sicilian? It's sort of unreal. Everything is a c3 Sicilian. I mean, how can you get away from it? The Vienna game is for sub 1300s. Why do you say that? No, I think the Vienna game is okay. I think it's just playable. You know, there's a lot of interesting possibilities there. I did a series for chesslecture.com recently on Steinitz, and he was using the Vienna game a lot, very effectively. I think the Vienna game also has the benefit that a lot of people don't study it. So at a certain level, when you get to like 23, 2400 maybe, it loses some of its effectiveness. But I would think that, you know, especially below master level, the Vienna would be really effective because people don't encounter it enough. Openings that are not trendy are dangerous because people, you know, they just don't really prepare for it. Pede Stew. I don't know, this guy played this just pawn sack in the opening, then he played a bunch of ridiculous moves. Then the second part of the game, he plays like he's really taking it very seriously. It's kind of bizarre. I would even argue that he has, like, I can't really say compensation, but alright, let's just play c5 and go for the minority attack. It's not a minority attack. It's kind of like a minority attack. And look at this h5. I'm probably going to need to play h3 at some point, although I guess it's not mandatory here. I'd rather not let him weaken my king side too much. But this 10-second increment, guys, honestly, it's a little too much. I regret that I gave Pede Stew this. Don't challenge me to 10-second increment. Sometimes I'm not paying real close attention when I accept the challenges, and I see, oh, okay, but it's 5-10. The game can get really long with the 5-10. Now he's got tactics based on rook takes e3. It looks like probably not earth-shaking at the moment. My knight's headed back to f1, where it should be a very good defender from f1. I have a network error reconnecting. 15 seconds added? That's weird. Are you guys still with me? Okay. So, I'd really like to trade a set of pieces if I might. But Pede Stew, I don't know, dude. Are you watching the stream? I don't know why you want to play a serious game after just gammoning a pawn in the opening. Why not, like, play a serious game from the beginning here? So, he has a lot of pressure, actually. in this position, it's very hard for me to do anything. I guess I'm going to bring my queen over to help guard the king side. Kind of classic Queen's Gambit type of structure. In general, though, I would prefer to play someone who has like an established rating. You can gauge how strong they are. Okay, Queen F3. Now I could have problems, actually. Looks like maybe I'm losing in some variations here. I have to be very careful. Pede wouldn't use an engine, would he? It looks like I'm on the verge of like being worse right here. The black playing perfectly after a point. So I might even be lost here. I'm in a kind of zugzwang situation, and interesting. Like I'm virtually lost. Maybe if I play perfect moves. Laz Hazior. I've always played YOLO. Laz Hazior, you talked about this opening, but you're not playing this game, right? This isn't you playing as Pede Stew, is it? Does anybody want to take responsibility for being Pede Stew, my opponent in this game? It's a little weird how the players played, let's just say that. This totally absurd opening followed by random moves and then very, very strong play. I'm not saying it's necessarily an engine, it's very suspicious, that's all. It's very weird. So, I don't know. I'm almost in Zugzwang, a pawn up. Which, you know, computers have a tendency to do that to you. So let's see. Queen B8. I want to stop Queen B8 here. But anyway, if anybody ever gets the inclination to try to use an engine while you're playing me, don't do it, because really, I mean, this is for everybody, you know, this is fun, and I guess I'm like on the verge of like resigning here. I have a check. Maybe I have a defense. It's really pretty awkward. It does look like no, it's not a rating, man. It's a provisional rating, so it's only based on 4 games. It's a casual game, but you know, I don't know why somebody would like give me a pawn in the opening, then play knight a6, knight b4 randomly, and then play like perfect moves for the last 20 moves. It's pretty strange. And now, yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to sack an exchange here now just to stay alive. Don't know if I can survive. Rook e2 looks like I have the feeling this is an engine. I mean, especially if none of you guys want to take responsibility. I'm pretty sure this is like perfect play. If you guys want to check, I mean, you can check the moves. It's been perfect play for like the last 21 moves or so. Since being down a pawn, and very, very machine-like precision. So here, rook e2 loses to queen d1. I have to sack the exchange basically, and it doesn't look like I have a perpetual. So I may not be lost here though. I'm really not sure. because I